It's time for our weekly feature, Ask the Realtor.
All right, time to change gears here now. But perhaps, we should start with Anthony Lamacchia Realty, and find out what Anthony's plans are for the eclipse on Monday. Anthony, what are you up to?
It's funny you say that. I haven't made any plans to see the eclipse, but I will tell you all a little secret. I wasn't exactly a student when I was in school. I wasn't a student at all. But the one class that I paid attention to every time, and I got great grades in, was astronomy. Mr. Petriconi was my teacher, and I enjoyed it. So I'm going to reach out to him, ask about the eclipse, and now I'm going to make sure to see it Monday.
Well, Anthony is with us here on the New England Business Report every week. This week, Anthony, you wanted to talk a little bit about what happened to interest rates this past week.
Yeah, it's, we're caught in a mouse wheel. The inflation continues to stick. Every time we think rates are going to come down in the sixes and stay there, something happens within 3 weeks and it drives rates back up. So really it was like last Tuesday, we saw rates get back up to 7.1, 7.2, 7.3. And it is what it is. Until there are things that are done to decrease inflation, it looks like the rate staying high is going to live longer. And I'll tell you, there's a lot of home sellers out there, homeowners, who would like to sell and buy something else, but they just don't want to trade that rate. So what this does is it just pushes off more people selling. But we are noticing there are more people saying, I can't wait any longer. I have to sell. I have to buy a bigger home. We're seeing a little bit more of that.
You just took the words out of my mouth. I wanted to ask you if this is affecting sales. It obviously has to be.
Oh, there's no question. I mean, the sales, what's amazing, Kim, is a year ago, sales were down 20, 30% from the year before. Now, sales are down 8%, 10%, 5% from last year. But if you compare that to the norm, sales are down more than 30%. And what's different from now till 08, 9, 10, we had too many homes for sale. That's why prices fell. Now, prices aren't falling. Prices have gone up in the last year, but the amount of sales have gone down a lot. So we have a housing recession with sales, not with housing prices.
Anthony, one stat you watch very closely is inventory. And when we spoke a week or so ago, you talked about how inventory was creeping up. Is that still the case?
It's funny you say that. It was creeping up for a few weeks. We hit the Easter week when less people list, and it went down. This week, we think it'll go up again. But here's the crazy thing. There's 7 million people in Massachusetts, roughly. As of right now, when I'm talking to you, there's about 7,000 homes for sale in Massachusetts. I mean, it is such a low amount. And just to give you an idea of the contrast to the last time we had a housing slowdown, 08, 9, 10, in April 2008, there were about 45,000 homes for sale in Massachusetts. Today, there's 7,000. So when we hear buyers say, well, is the market going to crash? I'm going to wait till prices collapse. How can prices collapse when we have nothing for sale? I mean, it's not possible. You have to have an oversupply.
Anthony, you do business in Florida as well. How does this compare?
So Florida is a little different. Very good question, Kim. Inventory there is going up, particularly with condos, with all the new condo guidelines. And we are seeing prices soften there, especially with condos. We could spend more time on that next week if you'd like. Because guess what? 40% of our clients down there lived in New England once upon a time.
Yeah, when you say softening, what does that mean, Anthony?
Prices going down.
No, I know, but I mean significantly, or what?
Yeah, I would say from the peak 2.5 years ago, prices for condos probably down 20%.
Wow, that is.
Single families are probably the same or have come down a little bit. But condos are definitely getting hit. I expect singles to get hit more. And, here's the thing with Florida. They have higher highs and lower lows, and this has been going on there for 60 years. When people feel a pullback in money, they drop their second home. And there's a lot of second homes in Florida, and a lot of people have just decided to put them on the market, so inventory levels have gone up. Not to historic highs or anything, but certainly significantly higher than they were 3 years ago.
Anthony, unfortunately, we're about out of time, but I did want to check in with you about that real estate decision that was made a couple of weeks ago. Where do we stand on that?
It's interesting. Very, very few seller and buyer clients even ask about it. And the ones that do, when our realtors explain how things really work in the real world, People get it. So we've had barely any pushback from clients, and it goes to show people don't really trust the media. I mean, a lot of these articles that have been out there, New York Times in particular, they don't trust it.
All right, listen, he's Anthony Lamacchia of Lamacchia Realty, and he's a regular visitor here to the New England Business Report.